Well, you always hear them get it. I love this game. NBA Finals still going down, but the Thunders that drew first blood, they're the ones that got the first victory, and it was actually on Miami's home ground. The next game will be in Oklahoma City. So for LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, they have to up the game. Chris Bosh also has to come to the party. I know LeBron James has won the MVP before, but yet to win a ring. And now is the time it has to make it happen, or else it might just turn out to be a jinx. Because Miami Heat actually qualified for the finals last year, losing narrowly to, what's the name now? The team that was led by the Dutch guy, Dirk Nowitzki, or the German. Can't remember the name of the team, lost that down. Okay, but anyway, Miami Heat lost, and this time they will not want to lose back-to-back for the second time. So they really, really need to watch it. 6 more games still on the cards, so they can drag the series all the way. When it looked impossible, like they couldn't do it against Boston Celtics, they were able to grind out the results at the end of the day. So it is not over or it is, until it's over. And in the early hours of tomorrow in Oklahoma City, we get to have Game 2 in the NBA Finals. Big question that everybody will waiting to ask or answer is who becomes the new champion of the NBA. Okay, away from basketball, they tell you that we have some guests in the studio from rugby. It is not football splash. I'll say that again. It is sports splash. And, well, when we talk rugby on sports splash, there's only one man who we call Mr. Rugby here, Intese Williams. He's right here in the studio. And he get to give us a brief of what they actually have in store to share with most of the rugby lovers. Intese, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Lee. It's nice to be here this morning. Yeah. Morning, viewers.
Nice to have you around once again. Okay, at least I got just that one shot. So we have the other guest in the studio. He claims to be a Nigerian to a large extent. And you understand why. Because he was born in Nigeria, Ibadan to be precise. And I was hoping he would give me some Yoruba words when we were actually not on air. But when he speaks, you have an idea that I'm sure you will even struggle to say good morning in Yoruba. But all the same, he was actually born in Nigeria. I'm talking about none other than Mr. Andrew Sarek. Mr. Andrew, you're welcome to the show.
Good morning, thank you.
Nice to have you around. I was hoping you would say one Yoruba word. You're still not saying it.
I'm still not saying anything, sorry. No. I was born here, but I've only been here once or twice since I was born.
Just once or twice?
Only once or twice. Last time, 8 years ago.
Wow. No problem. We'll pardon you, but at the same time, you still have to take classes. And,
I'll do my best.
Get one of the languages, you know. Anyway, nice to have you around on set. So, Intese, I'll start with you.
Right.
What's it all about? What's happening in the House of Rugby?
Well, we've just started the season, and the league is running. The Friends of Rugby, Lagos Rugby Union League is running. This is the third week. We had games last weekend. And so far, so good. The defending champions, Cowries Rugby Football Club, is topping the chart with 17 points, followed by Police Rugby Football Club with 15 points. And the Ilorin Rugby Football Club are just coming big. You know, they are the newcomers onto the league all the way from Kwara State. And then you have Lagos Rugby Football Club as well, and Goso and Young Lions all trying to get points on the chart. So far, so good. It's actually been good display of rugby. Less injuries so far because everybody have been they've been longing, you know, to get back onto playing rugby
and get to see the action.
Exactly. So it's been very good. And by and large, the national team is also preparing for an international in Botswana very soon, where the 15th national team will be playing alongside with Botswana and a team there.
Okay, I think that's part of the action we're seeing at the National Stadium.
Right.
One of the rugby matches right there on your screen. And it's from the pool of those players that you get to pull out those that get to feature for the national team.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And also the players from England as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so rugby continues in Nigeria. But for today, you have something that has to do with the development of rugby that you put in place, in development of rugby in Nigeria, which Mr. Andrew is going to be a part of.
Right.
So before I get to it, maybe you just give me a brief intro of what that's
like
about.
I said, Andy has been in Nigeria, and this is the second time you know, he's been around. The first time he actually came around with his son.
Oh, okay. He also plays rugby.
He also plays rugby, and his son actually opted to come and play for Nigeria with the under-18 side. He came down with him, and he became the coach of the under-18. But unfortunately, we couldn't make the trip, or the trip was postponed.
Okay.
And as such, we couldn't make that trip. But by and large, Andy is actually trying to see how he can help out with the development of rugby in Nigeria. Having been born in Nigeria and having so much of interest in what's going on in Nigerian rugby, he's actually helped out in putting together some rugby jerseys, which could be used for training and matches as well, because, you know, we never really get to have rugby jerseys being made here in Nigeria. We get to import them all the time. I brought in some rugby balls, you know, and some law books for us as well. So by and large, he's here alongside with his colleague, who they had actually gone for an official trip with the British Rugby Union to Uganda. The British Lions B team. We went on a tour of Uganda, played a couple of matches there. You would have watched it on, you know, on Super Sports. And the team has actually gone back.
But he decided
to decided to just pass through Nigeria
to his second home. Exactly. In fact, your first home.
Exactly.
Because where you were born, actually.
My original assistant.
Okay.
So today we're actually going to have the media, like you know, you guys have always been helping us, you know, helping to popularize the game. They're going to be doing a seminar for the media, so Sports Writers Association of Nigeria, Lagos chapter, at the Secretariat by around 1 o'clock. And also they're going to be talking to the players on the attitude towards professionalism, how they can prepare themselves towards playing, you know, on the international scene.
Okay, I'll bring you in now, Mr. Andrew Sarek. All right. Normally, the first question I should have asked is why the attachment to Nigeria. Well, the fact that you were born here is not normal, that you have that soft spot and you know, connection with Nigeria. But first, I want to know more about. Like I asked you earlier when I saw you, must have been actively involved in rugby when you were much younger. I'm talking of playing the game.
Does it show? Yes. I mean,
the physique, it's quite obvious.
I played when I was younger, yes, but since then I became a coach, and now I'm now a member of the English Rugby Football Union. So we administer the game in England. So we have some responsibility, and I'm hoping to use that influence to help develop the game here. England is the biggest rugby union, the wealthiest rugby union in the world, and if we can help developing nations, as Njenzi said, we were in Uganda last week. It wasn't just about playing a couple of games, it's about helping that country develop, taking the game to children, making them understand, also developing referees, developing coaches. So instead of going straight home, I came back here to my original home to see how we can help out here. I've known Njenzi a long time now, so I said, I'm coming. What can I do? How can I help? Some clubs back home donated some shirts that we sent over. They should be arriving, I think, today or tomorrow, to give out to schools, to give out to clubs, so that people can train. Some balls, some law books, and some hopefully impart some of my knowledge and experience to coaches, to players, to administrators, to referees, and to sports writers, all to help develop the game. It's a big international game. The Rugby World Cup is now the third biggest sporting event in the world after the Olympics and the Football World Cup. It's no longer just a game which was just Commonwealth countries.
More or less sectional then.
It's now a big
global
game.
Event. And
it's a global event, and Rugby Sevens will be in the 2016 Olympics, which means it's getting bigger all the time. And Nigeria has a huge potential to be one of the big players.
In global rugby, very true indeed. So putting all this together, it's all about trying to put Nigeria on the global map. And also, of course, get to improve the rankings, not just in Africa, but also in the Rugby World Cup. Okay, so hopefully, with all this being in place, maybe years down the line, we also get to see Nigeria feature at the World Cup. Because I was telling someone, the last Rugby World Cup was held in Australia, right?
New Zealand.
New Zealand, right? Yeah. Okay, side by side, I missed that up. Okay, so, and I was telling someone that I don't know why I didn't get to see Nigeria at the World Cup, because I was expecting that we'll get to fly our colors, but I guess that will get to happen very, very soon. But what would you have to say about the English rugby team? I was actually hoping they'll get to win that World Cup. It didn't happen.
Well, no, they didn't do so well, I think. But now we've got a whole new team. They're playing in South Africa at the moment. They had a close loss last Saturday. They're playing again this Saturday. But it's all building up to the next World Cup, which is 2015 in England, at Twickenham. And I think it's going to be between England, New Zealand, South Africa, Australia. Those are going to be the big four players, as they usually are. And I think playing at home, England have a great chance of winning again.
Okay, so I'll ask you again, what are the benefits that the rugby lovers, Nigeria, should be expecting from your country? You've talked about the jersey contributions, you've talked about giving equipment to them to make it easier, giving also to young lads to attract them to rugby. What else? What about the knowledge of the game itself? I'm expecting that probably today we'll have some kind of seminar or some kind of
we'll be talking about
session.
we're talking about professionalism. It's a professional game, but not in the way that football is. People play rugby for the love of the game. That's why people like me come here. It's because the game is more than just playing. It's about the whole camaraderie. It's the whole ethos of rugby. It's about discipline. It's a collision sport.
And it's a money-making sport.
It can be, but only at the very top level.
Okay.
Only at the very top level. It's not all about money.
Okay, not all about money. More of the passion.
The passion, absolutely, a very passionate game, yeah.
Okay, so there you have it. The event will be coming up in TSA where?
The National Stadium, Swan Secretariat, by 1 p.m. through to the evening. We're having the sports writers, and then the players are coming in as well.
Okay, 1 p.m. to when again?
1 p.m. to 2 p.m. for the sports writers.
Okay.
And then the players will come in thereafter.
That is after 2 p.m.
Yes.
Okay, so the event, just like you heard in TSA, will come up right there at the National Stadium. So if you're a rugby lover, you need to be right there to get more information about the game of rugby and ways to also get to develop it in Nigeria. So, Mr. Andrew, I was going to say that, I don't know, your son, you said, was actually going to play for Nigeria. What happened? Opted out?
Well, he unfortunately the tournament got postponed because of it was in Côte d'Ivoire. There was a civil war at the time, and it had to be postponed. He's still playing, but he's now at university studying. He can't get over quite so easily. I can come over more easily, but he's like me. He's Nigeria, because I was born there. He knows he can play for Nigeria, and that's still where he'd like to play.
That's where it had definitely gets to lie.
Oh yes.
But you've not told me where you actually played for when you were actually younger.
Yeah, when I was younger, I played in England. I played in London mainly, but I stopped playing in my mid-20s because it takes your toll sometimes, and my knees. They got
I was going to say, yeah, that's the part I was going to next. That I don't know how you can get to really because someone like me, back in my days in University of Lagos, I used to see the rugby guys. They come to make use of the sports complex. I'm sure it knows that the rugby pitch.
Lagos rugby.
Yeah. So, and when I see them have a go at each other, it's quite scary. And I don't know how you guys get to do it with no shield, no protection, not like what you have in American football.
No.
So I don't know. It's
that's
quite dangerous.
I
don't know how you can get to attract people towards that kind of sport.
That's where good coaching is important.
Oh, okay.
Because how you tackle, how you take contact.
There are lots of techniques involved.
The technique is very, very important. It's a collision sport, it's a contact sport, but actually it's not dangerous. Football is more dangerous. They have more serious injuries playing football than you do with rugby.
Are you serious?
I am serious, yeah.
On the few rugby matches that I've watched, I always see bloody noses every now and then.
But those players come back and play next week. They come back in 10 minutes.
Okay.
Football players, they can have an injury and be off for months. So the injuries are much more serious. But yeah, okay, you might get a bit of a bent nose or a bloody ear, but that's a small thing. Unlike football, if you get a nudge in football, what do you see? You see them rolling all over the floor crying.
Okay.
Yeah. In rugby, they get a big smack and then they get up and get on with it.
It's more of football. You can do it. It depends on how it's designed. You do a bit of play acting, but in rugby, it's the big boys with the big muzzles that get to do the battle. So it's kind of weird to see someone with big muzzles rolling on the ground and crying. It's going to be quite strange and weird indeed. But for someone with a frail posture. Doesn't have the. Can they also get to be a rugby player?
There is a place for everybody of every size. Doesn't matter big or small. There's 15 players on the pitch. They all have different jobs, different roles. You see the forwards when they have the scrum.
Oh
those are
yeah,
the big
and
guys.
I see the guys that most times do the touchdown. They are not so heavy.
Exactly.
They have a lot of pace.
This is why Nigerians are ideal for rugby. There are big guys here, the biggest
You have
guys in
the
Africa
physique.
are in Nigeria, but also you have the fast guys, but they got some muscles, but they have speed. And these are the guys these are the ones who score all the tries, they score the touchdowns. They're the ones who actually get all the scoring. And Nigeria have plenty of those too. And they're not so big. They could be the smaller guys. People like you. You'd be a great winger.
Yeah, so maybe I might consider, my career in rugby. Probably after this show. I think I'm too old already.
You just need to get used to take a bit of contact sometimes. So a bit of hitting ain't bad.
That's hard already. I don't know what it's going to be like on the pitch. Okay, so those are the guys from the House of Rugby. Incheso Williams, always a friend of the house. Thank you for coming.
Thanks very much.
And of course,
thank you.
The Nigerian-born British Andrew Sarek.
Sarek, that's right.
Don't want to mix it up. So the seminar, we'll get together for the rugby guys. Will have to be at the National Stadium this afternoon once again, and it comes up 1 p.m., 2 p.m. for the media. And after that, the rugby players, officials, administrators, they all want to get to have acquire more knowledge about the game of rugby. Need to be at that location. We'll take our next break right now. SportSplash on Lagos Television is still the show. Emeka Wan is in the studio. And where else do we start from? Nigerian Premier League updates. Super Eagles of Nigeria will also get to do business against Rwanda this weekend. Euro 2012 also on the card. So don't touch that channel.